Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome, folks. Today, the Hungry Gamer is back with another episode of Boards and Brews, and today I am rejoined by my occasional regular co-host, Original Don, and Peter Vaughan of Cardboard Alchemy. Dare I say fame? Yes, I do. Fame, the man of the cozy dragons. In fact, you can almost see the cutest little dragon right behind him.
Yep.
Blowing a horn in the face of something. I don't know what that critter is.
This is from this background is from Flamebound, the sequel that we're working on. So an iron dragon up in a tree, singing music to a cowl, a creature that we'll talk about when that sequel comes out.
Oh, that's very exciting. Everybody, you're gonna have to wait like 6 more appearances by Peter Vaughan on this podcast to find out. But anyhow, so what we are talking about today, we're going to be recapping kind of our thoughts on DonCon5. And if you don't know, the only requirements to have a DonCon are threefold. One, you have to have some kind of media presence that's at least a mediocre deal in their own mind. You have to have a publisher that is a very big deal in everybody's mind, and a Don. And the Don is the most important one. But if you have all three, you can have a DonCon. And we have all three of those. In fact, last episode, Don and I talked about kind of the changes that this DonCon was undergoing. We've talked about in the past how big the DonCon should be, because one year we got the exact wrong number of people where it was hard to play games, where we had to have too many, or we needed to have fewer, or we needed more. And so here we are, and the big change that we had this time was Don added technology to the list, and we've had board game picks, I believe it was called, board game picks?
Yes.
The website?
Game Night Picks. GameNightPicks.com.
That was a lot of fun. I've already been talking about that with people.
And so we all added in a whole bunch of games, too many games, that we in theory would like to play, and then all of us had to rank them, which was way harder than it should be, because we had like 50 games on there, so it was really hard to rank. And then we thought the website was going to make a schedule for us. That is not true. So I made a schedule for us, and it was very aggressive, but we actually got through, I think it was 14 games on that list with our aggressive schedule, and we only missed 2 of them. We had to pull 2 games off for time, and that was it. So really successful. Definitely recommend if you're doing a kind of a weekend con or something like that. Absolutely use that. That was my impression, but let's give them some publicity. Don, Peter, what are your thoughts on GameNightPicks.com?
Don,
yeah, same comments. Just I'd even use it if you're just doing a long game day. It's a good way to get that list going ahead of time. And the big pitch for the site is you're avoiding that time where everybody's staring at the shelf trying to decide what to play, and nobody wants to suggest anything. And so it's a big help for that.
Yeah. And well, and let me share about that. The idea, I really thought about that because I went to a game night, actually the day after DonCon, and we were supposed to start at 3 o'clock, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be 15 minutes late," and they were talking about the games, and then suddenly traffic happened, and suddenly I was going to be an hour late, and I was like, "Oh my god!" But they were going to play some long 4X or area control, troops on a map type game. I knew how to play all of them. I said, okay, it doesn't matter what you pick. I know you have to teach some people. Just put it on the table. I will go last. I'll get there. I'll just jump right in. Would have been fine. I got there. They hadn't even picked a game yet. We started 100 minutes late between picking a game and getting it set up. 100 minutes. And we did not have that. So yes, Don, that was a horrible. I mean, I had a great time, but that was a moment I was like, why is this happening?
You know, the thing that's neat about the app to me was you can first when you add a game, you can say, I have it, so I'm bringing it, and then I know how to teach it, which I thought was a great column to check off, because then you could actually assign a teacher. And I think that was, even though you made the schedule, that was the best part about the schedule, was going like, okay, I'm off for these 3 games, and then I'm on. I better know. Like, as soon as we were tearing down the game that was right before I was supposed to teach, I was like, okay, I'm making sure I'm in setup mode and I'm ready to go.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually really, really helpful because I was able to make that choice. Like, I didn't want anybody to have to teach multiple in a row. And I think you had to teach multiple in a row because you brought a prototype, and I think that
Yeah.
yeah. But other than that, like we all got breaks. So yeah, that was really cool. And you even I didn't play with it too much. There was even the way to pick like little emojis of how excited I am about this game or whatever. So that's got some neat stuff in there. Definitely worth doing again, I think.
Yeah. Game night picks? Is that what it is?
.com.
Yeah.
Yeah,
.com.
and I apologize for my video, which apparently seems to just be. But Will also. Don is the only one who has no. The camera's not doing anything, but I did not invite the camera to do this,
Yeah,
and
so
I have turned it off, and it's not listening to me.
yeah, I don't know how to stop the Zoom following you because like I can even see it on my newer laptop. It's got a second little camera light on the corner, so
Yeah.
I don't know how to turn that off. So if you're watching and you're seasick, get a bag, I guess. I don't know. But before we go any further, what is everyone's brewed beverage? Today I just have some coffee that my sister-in-law got for us in Belize and sent to us, and I'm drinking in my Sekar Ramrod mug.
I wish I had a mug as cool as that.
I've just got some nice Starbucks Christmas blend that is in my Tatooine Starbucks mug.
Ooh, very nice. Actually, I do have a mug as cool as that. I have a Critter Kitchen mug.
Nice.
Wait a minute,
I'm
did you get the
drinking.
rights to make that mug?
Someone made this mug for me, and I will. Yeah, I don't think they had the rights to do that. So don't do this at home, kids. Don't just take your favorite board game and make a mug, design of it.
Well,
I'm
hopefully you don't
drinking
get
tea though, by the way, some black tea.
hopefully you don't get a cease and desist.
Right.
That'd be funny. You should send yourself one.
I'll
I
get right
actually
on that.
I actually did that game that we've actually played at DonCon with Wondrous Creatures. There's one of the pieces of art that when I was previewing it made Mrs. Hungry Gamer laugh so hard, and she loves it so much, the majestic fish horse.
Hmm.
Because there is a thing in the real world. There is a seahorse. That is a thing. But oh no, this one is the front body of a horse, like with the little hooves, like swimming with like a tail on the end, and she loved it so much. So I reached out to them and said, "Hey, is it weird if we make a mug? Can we make a mug? Are you okay with that?" And like, absolutely. And they sent it to me. They even was like, "Oh, here's one without." They pulled the icons and stuff off the thing, so it was just the art. So we have a majestic fish horse mug, but they
Nice.
also asked. It was very. It's one of her favorites. But
Yeah.
anyhow, jumping in to the actual episode here. One recent play for everybody. Don, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. So you, Will, got me Space Station Phoenix for Christmas, and I've played it twice since DonCon. Uh, it's fantastic. It's one I was curious about and just hadn't gotten around to. The gist of the game is you are each building your own space station, and to build that space station, you need to get lots of metal. And the way you get metal is by dismantling the ships that you use to get to the place where you're building the space station. There's some lore missing in the intro to the game. Like it doesn't tell you why you went somewhere, unless I missed it. I need to go back and try again. But like why you went somewhere with this fleet of ships and you're now building space stations and your neighbors are all building space stations and you're not cooperating at all. So
I mean, have you
there's a
met those
story there
neighbors?
that I'm
No.
missing. Yeah. So there's that. But it's just such a great engine builder. You know, you're building the stations in quadrants, and those quadrants or sectors, they call them, those give you abilities. But as you dismantle your ships, you're losing abilities, and so it's
Hmm.
just this great push pull. It's an elegant design. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I've been curious about it, and so I was thrilled that you wanted it because then I was like, that's my excuse.
Yeah.
But I almost got because there was another game a few years ago, Corrosion, I think it was called,
Hmm.
that had gears and like they would break down, and that
Yeah.
idea of you have to take things apart to do more stuff. And everybody I talked to said, yeah, that was fine. So I never got it, never grabbed it, but I'm excited to try one that, in theory, does it well. So I guess
Yeah.
there's a game day on the horizon. Peter, have you
Yep.
played this one?
No, I haven't. Not yet. I got to do it. We need DonCon 6 for this to happen.
Yeah. It's the one game where I wish I had opened this and then put it on the schedule for the
Yeah.
week when we were all together, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, in retrospect, if we do DonCon 6 around Christmas again, I think we need to send the gifts out
Oh, there you go.
because then, or at least, yeah, no, you get wait,
Or
open up
show
on
up knowing
camera.
how to
Hey,
teach
Don,
it.
here's your present. Look, you know. So we have that potential. Like, there's so many games were flying around. I don't know that we could have played all of them, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's definitely something that we should consider doing in the future. Peter, how about you? What's your recent play?
Well, I will tell you that right after DonCon, I went to my relatives in Chicago, and I introduced them all to Flamecraft Duals, which is it's a little bit of a cheat because it is my company's game, but
How many members of your family got a copy of Flamecraft Duels for Christmas, Peter?
everybody got a copy because it plays. It's that entry. I mean, it's an abstract game that's a little bit akin to what they would recognize out of chess or checkers, but it's got the cute dragons on it, and there's a lot of fun different modes that if they get into it they can enjoy. And it was easy to teach. It's the quickest, like, hey, this is what the dragons play on their lunch break. We're gonna all take turns, play a token out of the bag. You're gonna fire it up, do its ability, and then
Is
you're
that the
gonna
lore? I didn't know that
yeah,
was the lore.
yeah, that's the lore.
Oh my gosh, they walk out of there. So basically, what you're telling me is we have to play Flamecraft, and then in between every round, we have to go
Do a round of
play
duels.
a
Yeah,
duels and then come back. That's
yeah.
cute as heck. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it went over really well. I think the family is excited about it. It's also New Year's Day. I think it's going to be supposed to be in Barnes and Noble. So that's very exciting. So I'm looking forward to that.
Wow, and so just out of curiosity, how many copies did you give away for Christmas? I'm just curious. Like, how many family members were
Well,
like, "What'd you get? I got this. That's what I got."
I got other things, and then at the end of everybody opening that, I didn't have them wrapped because I thought, let's just not do that. Let's just go. Everyone's getting this.
It was so
Uh,
many copies. Peter's like, "I can't wrap these. I don't have enough paper."
that's fine.
That'll put me over budget.
It's very small, so it's easy to wrap. Although it does have the deluxe edition has a fun lock to it, so not quite the absolute rectangle square because that's got that little extra. But no, I gave it to the whole family. Now, how many will play it is another question. I'm trying to. We'll see. I'll check back with them.
No, it was funny. My mother did that, I guess, like 4 years ago when my brother Skippy's game Lunar Rush came out, and so she backed like 10 or 12 copies or whatever. It's probably why the game funded. And then last year at Christmas, I was back at the house, and there's a entire like bookshelf just full of these games. I was like, "What's up with this?" Like, "Oh, they're presents." I was like, "That's like 3 years ago." Yeah, I didn't mail them out, so I spent several hours chasing down addresses, shipping these things out. And I was like, none of these people are going to play this thing
Yeah.
at all. But they're all at Flamecraft Duels has a much higher chance of being played, I think, than Lunar Rush if you've never played a game.
Yeah, yeah. I think some of the other games that we make, like we're gonna make Whisperwood next. It is not gonna be everyone's Christmas present.
You didn't give everybody an Andromeda's Edge?
Andromeda's Edge. I mean, I did. If they wanted it, I was like, I will get you Andromeda's Edge. Trust me. But harder sell. Like this is gonna take over the whole dining room table, everybody.
And a lot of space because you wouldn't give somebody a retail edition.
Oh no,
Right.
can't do that.
Which, hey, I stand by. The best thing I ever did was say, you take this filthy deluxe and give me the retail. Oh, I love it. I was looking at it right there. It just sits on one shelf. It's my
Yeah, yeah.
shelf that's like this thick that there's nothing I can do with it. And there it is. It's glorious.
So yeah, as a company too, I think it's really teaching us that like we make the deluxe editions because that's what Kickstarter and that's what crowdfunding wants. But we always make a standard edition because that's what retail wants. And that's what does really well in retail. And as I do more games, I'm realizing that if we could just get the retail, to do what we do, which is deluxify some of it, make it a little cool. It's not just the bare bones, but then also bring that other one just within the realm of something you will transport to a game night. That would be a good goal. So
It's great. I love it. So my recent play is Daybreak, and this is a couple years old. And this is from Matt Leacock and Matteo. I think I pronounced that right. And from CMYK. And this is a crisis management game, a tableau builder, where you are each taking the role of a country trying to stop global warming. And if the world gets too much hotter, you lose. If you get too many communities in crisis, which you mostly get by not having enough energy for your need, you lose. And if something else happens, there's one other way that you can just lose all the way. Or if you get through 6 rounds and you haven't achieved drawdown, which is you're taking more carbon out of the environment than you're putting in, you lose. And so it's funny because I recorded my review video and I haven't edited and stuff yet. But in that video, I talked about this, this is, I really appreciate that this is pretty easy. Like, this is an easier one, which is good because that's kind of hopeful. Because one of my issues with the game in general is like, I feel real bad if I destroy the climate.
Yeah.
I have that issue with games. So I don't play historical war games because I don't want to be the Nazis, that kind of thing. So, but I'm like, it's actually decently easy and it's bright. It's got colors and it's called Daybreak. That implies hope, right? With the break of
Yeah.
day, all this stuff. And so we're playing through, and Mrs. Hunger Gamer really likes it. She had a great time. She's like, let's play this again. I made the video. I'm like, we're about to go play again. We're going to do great. We sat down and got obliterated. And then
Oops.
and then I was like, well, that might have just been like the weird bad draw of cards. Because, there's lots of cards and stacks like this thick. Like maybe we just didn't get what we needed. That can happen. Play it again. Got smashed. And Mrs. Hungry Gamer was like, I don't ever want to play this again. So yeah, well, and so I told Peter this because Peter's published a few games that she doesn't mind losing. And like, you have to understand how big of a deal that is. Because she likes crisis management games, but this is not the first one that she really liked until she really didn't.
We did think about rebranding the company slogan to "Games so fun that even if you lose." But no, we're not going to do that. Although I do actually love playing, like even Andromeda's Edge, which we did get to play in DonCon5. I don't care if I win or lose that game. I have a blast playing that game. So I'm glad that Critter Kitchen is that too for her.
Yeah. So Daybreak, I actually think is a very good game, and I actually highly recommend checking out. That it's got a mod on BGA, which is really good. It's fast, it's simple to learn and to play, and it's apparently challenging. I said it wasn't, but apparently I had 4 unicorn games where I just rolled it. I was like, saving the planet's easy. Apparently it's not. But Daybreak, it's Matt Leacock, he's known for making those games. He also did Fate of the Fellowship, which recently came out, and all the pandemics. And I'm very happy that he's making more of these games that aren't pandemic because that's too real for me.
Yeah.
So Daybreak. Don, what's next on your table?
It is probably a place for all my books, which Peter got me and taught me before he left DonCon. I keep telling the kids about it, and we just haven't gotten it to the table yet. We played Space Station Phoenix twice. I've described it to them, and they are really tickled by the idea because the whole idea is you're organizing your books in your house and hanging out in your house and doing thoughtful little things like that builds up your social battery, and then eventually you need to go out and get more books, and going out in public drains your social battery. Actions are intuitive, and the little goals that you have to get are tricky and thinky, and so I enjoy it.
Yeah, I was explaining the theme of it to my wife, and the whole you do the books, and then you get the energy to go out. And she's like, yeah, that's how that works. That's science.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm glad you like it. I've shown it to several people this year, and I really enjoy it every time. Whether because you're getting your own personal goals, and even the ones that I had in that game with you, Don. I was like, okay, because your brain's like, how many of these goals can I get done at once? I don't even care about going out of town, and then you go out of town just to get more books to do more goals. That's a nice pattern.
Yeah. Even like the idea, like, oh, I want to have a green book in each of the 4 corners of the house. Like that feels real. Like there's somebody that wants to do that. So
you need a board game version. Spark and Dagger needs to get on the a place for all my board games because I currently
Mhm.
play that game all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm looking at a couple that are under my table here, and they're
Yeah.
there. And they're there because I'm just not sure if they're going to stay in the collection. But I have until I play them, I don't know. So they're
Right.
just like it's a lot of space. Like it would have to be such a big game. That's the thing. Place for all your board games, like it would have to be like the jumbo size games that they do at the cons, like they make the life size King of Tokyo's and stuff. It'd have to be
There
something
you
like that. You need to get on this. What do you got coming next, Peter?
go. On my list of my shelf of opportunity, I've had a couple games that I
It's
recently got.
shame.
I got
Let's just
Iridia
call.
to the table. I have had some other ones that I got to the table. Now I'm trying to remember all of them, but I know one that I haven't gotten to the table that is due, which is Vantage. I need to get Vantage to the table, so that is on my list. I'm I'm gonna have some games people over for New Year's gaming at the studio, so we'll see if that makes it on there.
Well, are you going to use boardgamepicks.com?
I should, yeah, 100%. Tell everybody,
The only
listen.
problem is it's going to say teacher. They're all just put Peter, 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 Peter,
That
Peter.
that is one of the problems I've had recently because I've started running some board game nights at Carbon Alchemy Studios. And I know a lot of games, so I can take one of the tables. And then the other people at the other table are kind of milling about going, what should we do? They don't know any of them. And so I have to make sure there is a teacher among that group so that somebody could teach something. And our friend Amanda Panda has come over and she does like every game. So a lot of times when she sits down, she can actually teach the game that she's in and somebody else's game at the same time. So I like that. But if I'm without her, I have to say, okay, someone take something and cover about four people over there so that I don't have to take on, another table. But
I love Vantage. It was actually Beatrice, the board game dog's game of the year,
nice.
which I
How many
mean,
blueberries are in that game?
well, it is blue. It
Okay.
is blue. Well, I think the win was that one of the things that Jamie Stegmaier did is he put out a Google Slide, which allows you to put your own pets into the game and
Oh,
easy
nice.
make up your own ability and all those things. So Beatrice is in the game three times with three different pieces of art. So I think that's why she
That's clearly it.
yeah, that's why she went for it because she knows.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is, don't let people play with six.
Okay.
I think three is where I think it's the best because you wind up like you have to really be into the talking about what you're seeing. Like that's the joy. It's like, oh, well, what is your vantage? And like I guess the idea is you have a radio so you can talk to people and you can help a little bit, but you're describing what you see. But if you got six people, that's 5 rounds of just, oh, what do you see? What do you see? And you're just listening. But at three, which is the I've played it at three. It doesn't feel too onerous there. And the other thing is there is a rules pop app. Definitely, what I did was I just put a QR code to it in my box
Mm,
because that it's just faster than passing the books around. So,
yeah. Nice.
Don, you haven't played this yet, have you?
No, not yet. I'm interested.
Well, it's fantastic. Don actually bought me the dual layered boards for that because
Nice.
Yeah.
Don,
Yes, I
Don
did.
is a Stonemeyer champion, and every now and then when I need to buy some Stone, I'm like, "Hey Don, could you order this for me, please?" And so he always does. And I asked him to order me the upgraded bits, the coins, and the tokens. And I was working, and I didn't see the message. Don said, "Oh, do you want the player boards too?" The answer was no, I don't need those. And then like 20 minutes later, there was another message that said, "Yeah, you need those. I got them." So so I,
Nice.
You needed them.
and you know what? To be fair, I am glad I have them. I am definitely glad I have them. But Vantage is a delight. I think you're going to really enjoy the experience. And so for me, my next one is uh, Aberration, which is my now longest standing Kickstarter back that I haven't played. And this
Gotcha.
showed up in like February, so not that bad. Previously, it was Trolls and Princesses, which we actually played at DonCon, which
Yeah.
that was like 4 years just sitting there. I was like, oh, I should play this, and never did. But Aberration is a tower defense game where a bunch of different heroes that you can play, and it's a bag builder at the same time. And the kind of the key shtick is it's very dark, dark world, and so there's like shadows approaching, so you don't know what the bad guys are until they get to a torch you put out, or your hero ventures out to deal with them. And there's also some worker placement going on. There's some little meeples that you can kind of move around and get more meeples. And as you take damage, you slowly get corrupted. And being corrupted is bad because you're being corrupted, but also like when you're fighting and suddenly you got a tentacle, maybe that's pretty good.
Nice.
You can use that thing, so you get more powerful as you get damaged. And little worker placement, really cool looking thing. And I finally forced myself to play it because I just sat down and said, you know what, I'm just going to paint these heroes, and if they're painted, I have to play them.
And you will go. Yeah.
So I'm hopeful I'll like it. Sarah would like the kind of game, but she's not going to play with me because it's creepy and gross. Growing tentacles is not. That's not a flame bound kind of thing. Oh my gosh, that's what you need. Flamecraft horror.
Oh yeah. Well, I do know that Manny Vega, the designer of Flamecraft, is. I mean, it's funny because both Manny has said to me, I think I want to do something a little darker, a little less saccharine, and so has Sandara. And I know Sandara, we've been talking about doing something that is darker. And Manny's, I think, pitched a darker game to a publisher and got it signed. So he is already doing something that, to scratch that itch. So, because Flamecraft, he has to stay super positive, super friendly. Dragons don't get hurt ever.
And there just needs to be a tentacle dragon, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
No, you're welcome, April Fools. There you go. Tentacle dragon.
I could ask Sandara to get into that and say just one.
Just one horrifying thing.
No. Already we're talking about doing a promo for Critic Kitchen, which is a Gator critic. And the Gator critic the deal is it eats all of your chefs at the end of the game. And some of the fans are already like, no, I'm not doing that. The animals are too cute. I'm not gonna do that. It's just a game. Don't worry. It's not actually
the circle of life.
It's now a legacy game. You actually have to.
You don't have to destroy the sous chef cards. That's already too dark for everybody, but for some it'll be great. It'll be one of the best cards.
I love this plan. You heard it here first, folks. Tentacle dragon.
Nice.
I don't know what color it is, but it's going to be gross.
Noble Knight Games, we've been carefully growing the world's largest selection of board games, role-playing games and dice, war games, miniatures and paints, card games, and more. Going on 25 years now. Our rustic castle contains more game and hobby goodness than you can shake a stick at. Complete with careful packaging and the finest customer service the land can provide. You can buy, sell, trade from anywhere in the world, just like nature intended. Noble Knight Games.
All right, so moving into our recap of DonCon5, and so we have 6 categories.
Okay.
Rather than just listing out games, we have best win, best lost, most surprising, the moment of the convention, and this is a new category, the happiest game, the most joyful game. In other words, just the game that you think back on, or when you played, you're like, gosh, I'm so happy I'm playing this right now. And then game of the con. So that's what we have here. And back to you, Don. Why don't we start with best win?
Okay. So just so everybody knows, I don't have a lot of choices here. I won the first game and the last game of the 14 games that we played. So,
does this category have to be? Does this have to be your win?
Well,
that's a good question. Well, that's
too
how
soon,
I
Peter.
It. So
everybody, to be fair, I have never seen a streak like this ever.
And it was fine.
It was very intensely fine.
Yes.
Don may have locked the door right behind me when I walked out.
I mean, and also I should say up front too, because we talked about this before we started filming. This isn't a rule of this, but none of us put the same game in any category. So that's sort of just something that we all just decided. So that allows you, Don, to keep your, this gives you some flexibility to, change it up. You don't have to always
Sure.
repeat the best win in all of the categories if you don't want.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I will go with what I put down, which is Nico Syndicate. So this is the first game of the con that Will and I played while Peter was still en route. We played it a couple of times. Will won once and I won once. So even there, I only had a 50% win rate. This is by Danny Garcia, is the designer who also designed Windmill Valley and something else famous that I saw a second
Barcelona.
ago. Barcelona, thank you. Um, this is a light card game. You're building a tableau with little cat mafia figures.
Cat
And
sushi mafia figures. Like,
yes, you're smuggling sushi, trying to become the best sushi smuggler. And so you're building them in like a little pyramid. And so as you choose it, one of two actions on a card, that dictates which card you're going to next. And then you decide on those. And uh, it it's great. It flows well. It's, a 2-minute teach, and then you get right into the game, and the game is less than 30 minutes. And it was delightful. It was a great way to warm up.
and surprisingly crunchy. Like we get towards the
Yeah.
end because you're choosing going down this pyramid, and each card you go to gives you two actions, but depending on which action you take, that's what card you can go to below that.
Hmm.
And by the end, and there's only 4 different actions you can do. Either you're getting sushi, you're making rice, and the making rice is very situational, or
Yep.
you're swapping sushi out for different things in your warehouse, or you're moving sushi around. And it becomes surprisingly challenging to make that choice of which side of the pyramid you're going to go down. It's really, really surprised me at how much I enjoyed it. Like initially, I was just like, so we're doing Mafia Sushi Cat org chart. That's the
Yep.
game?
Yep.
And there clearly needs to be more of these. So, Peter Vaughan,
Sure.
get on it.
Play that one though.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a few times now on the podcast. It's a really neat one. It's 25th century games. It's probably a heavier game for 25th century. They do very light, quick things outside of their Knizia game line that they were doing, but really, I really recommend that one. So, Peter, what was your best win?
Well, for best win is also a game that I taught, is Covenant. I had played it before. I was taught the game myself by Luke Laurie, and we both picked it up at PAX Unplugged. It just had absolutely looked like my type of game. The theme is and there's homage in the rulebook to Lord of the Rings, the Mines of Moria, basically the dwarves when they were in their heyday, and you're running a clan of dwarves. It's a worker placement game, and your dwarfs start out as level 1, but you're going to do activities to, get them either temporarily get their level up by beer, or you're going to actually level them up by various actions, and then you can actually get new worker placement spots. One of the things I love about Covenant is that every time you do an action, there's only 3 rounds and there's only 4 dwarves. There's only 12 turns, but each turn is like 10 turns because you do this, which triggers that, and you get a new worker placement spot, which gives you these rewards, and you go mining and it gives you that reward, and this, that, and the other just keeps chaining. And every time I played it, I loved it more. So I was happy to teach it. And then satisfyingly, even though there was the win, I think the best win was actually mid-game finding that both of you liked it as well. And so I can't wait to play that game some more.
That's kind of funny. That's kind of always the weird, stressful moment when it's a heavier game, and you're like, "I like this game a lot. I'm going to teach it," and then you look around the table and people are like,
I hate it.
"Yeah, no, no, no. This is a good time. Really, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's always so stressful. Yeah, it was really fun. In fact, I feel like you buried the lead. I took your game. Your
That's
game
true.
is here in my house, and I'm actually teaching it to one of my channel members, Mark. He's coming down tonight. He reached out. He's like, "I want to do a game night." I was like, "How do you feel about a heavy game about dwarves?" He's like, "I'm in," and
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can convince Don to come down and join as well. So really clever game. I haven't played the solo yet, which I'm excited to try out. It was really clever, and it took a little while to teach, but once you got into it, everything kind of rolls and makes sense. Really clever. Don, what do you think about it?
Yeah, not a lot to add to that. It was clever. That only 12 turns part always stresses me out, but like Peter told us from the beginning of the game, like those turns are going to get more and more complex, and you're going to trigger things. And combo things. And so, yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's one where I don't think I had much of a strategy, so I'm anxious to play it a second time when I kind of know what's going on.
So begins Don's winning streak.
I think that
We'll
was
see.
just a little bit of an unfair win because I had played it then 3 times. And I think that game does benefit from you absolutely knowing the gears that are going on in that game. So, but I'll take it.
So for my best win is a game that I have lost probably more than any other game I've ever played. And I've actually only won this game when playing against the designer or part of the dev team. And that is Andromeda's Edge.
Wow.
I had not won that game since the
And
so-called Orange Con, we called it, when Chris Strain came out to LA. I came down. That was like 3 years ago.
it was well deserved because I believe it was points, just a couple points, and I could have had it.
It came
So,
down to extra liters.
yes, that's an
Mhm.
amazing because I gave Luke Glory a lot of slack over that because the leaders are 1 point each. And most of the time, people have about 3 liters each. And most of the time, it's a wash. And I go, these liters are it's like a worthless thing. All of a sudden, we're tied, and I have 0 liters, and you have a couple liters, and that was it.
So that, and we got to play some of the new Genesis factions, and I got to play the Wood Whisperers, which is my jam. Like, I didn't know this. That is my faction because I can get blown up as much as I want, and it only made me stronger. I Obi-Wan Kenobi'd you, and yeah, just really liked it. And we had the Cosmic Frog out there, and has the greatest picture of any picture of that game, the Cosmic Frog, because I took over the Cosmic Frog, attacking the Mortality Sphere. Beautiful. Had a really that was a great one. I should retire from the game. I should never play again. It's never going to get better than that.
I mean, to me, that's also a win because I love it that you want to play my big game that we made at Carpet Alchemy. And the fact that it gets on the schedule and is highly ranked makes me excited. I actually ranked Dwellings of Eldervale above it. For anyone who's a fan of both of those games, I still love I still love Dwellings of Eldervale. It's kind of my baby. And I put that as my #1 anticipated game of DonCon5. And I'm glad we got to play that one as well.
Who won that one? Who won that other game?
I didn't win that one either. You could
Yeah.
have listed either one of these as your best win.
Yeah, but see, the Dwellings one, that was a little bit expected because I'm on a streak. I've won 3 in a row at Dwellings.
Also points, just barely lost that one.
It was delicious. Your tears are so good. So, but moving into best loss.
Right.
Don, we gave you some time to think about it.
Oh, this one's easy. It's, I had a lot to choose from, yes, but Dwellings of Eldervale. If it's on the schedule and I lose, it's my best loss because it's my favorite game. I thought I was going to win that one. I think that's one of the couple games where I was doing really well the whole time and then just got smoked at the end. But it's just a delightful game. We've talked about it a lot on here, so I don't need to explain the game or anything. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really good one, and there were several games when I was thinking, I was like, this is Don's game, and then just the wheels fell off. Like, it's just so weird. Like, you're just driving along, and then suddenly you're just sitting there holding the steering wheel, and
It's a gift.
Yeah, and nobody knew how it happened. All right, so Peter, how about you? Best loss?
All right, my best loss, which honestly could have been Game of the Con as well. And it's not because I lost. It was the first game I rolled in to play. So when I got there, thankfully you saved it for me. Clans of Caledonia, which I haven't played for a long time. This was with the expansion content, which I need to make sure I chase down and get because I really love this game. And playing it again, I was reminded how much I love this game. And I lost, but I had a blast playing this game. It's actually best loss for 2 reasons. It's not what Don just named as his best loss, but I honestly thought Don was going to take this game. It looked like Don was going to take this game. And then Will just came out of nowhere. I feel like you came out of nowhere.
Well, I was surprised too.
We were all shocked. It was like Don had this in the bag. So best loss because it was the biggest upset I've ever seen, and also most enjoyable. Like it was so good. I want to play that game again as soon as possible. The fact that it wasn't Game of the Con is because something we played is that good, but this could easily have been it. So
it was one of those things. So for most of the games that you have tally up scores, Don has on the BG Stats app the little scorecard, and so we feed in the scores to Don. And then when he told us the score, I was like, "What? There's no way!" But we just actually last episode we talked about Clans of Caledonia. We reviewed it with the expansion Choo Choo Time. I don't know what it's actually called. Most
Industria.
Mostly it's about trains, and it's great. It's you can play this on BGA, and we are regularly playing it. I don't think it's we played async on BGA, and it's not for me playing async because you constantly got to kind of reevaluate what's going on. The board state's constantly changing. It's super dry sounding. Like I have a sheep now. That sheep gave me wool. I turned that wool into this. I have grain. I made bread and whiskey. Like, it's just that dry. And there's like, oh, now I put my wool, my grain, or my wool, my bread, and my whiskey on a train. And I sent it somewhere. Like, it doesn't get any drier sounding than that, but it's very, very clever.
Well,
really.
I like to say that, I like to start off by you're a Scottish clan, and then your clan something, Clan Ferguson or whatever you are. And each one has an ability, and you're making the basics like whiskey and cheese and, so, there's a lot of fun things going on in there.
The different clans and the powers really, I think, make the game. It does something that I know Peter loves of your power is broken, but everyone's got a broken power. And so I love that same thing I do with when I play Dwellings is whatever those powers are,
you lean into it.
That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And it just really is very, very clever. Don, we just babbled for 20 minutes, but Don, your thoughts?
No, and I'm going to talk about this game again in a few minutes, but yeah, it's one of the more thoughtful expansions I've ever seen. It's clear they put a lot of work into it. So yeah, and the asymmetric powers, the clan powers are everything in this game. And I noticed when you set up a game in BGA, one of the toggles you can set is like play without clans, and I'm like, why would you do that? I'm sure it's in the rule book as an option too, but just it's what makes this game really sing. The mechanics are great, but like you say, it's dry until you're like, oh, I'm clan so and so, and I specialize in milk. That is my destiny, and so it's great.
My destiny is milk.
Yes.
I mean, Will, your power was something about every time you made a sale, a buy or a sell in the market, you just get a little coin.
A prebate. It was a prebate.
Yes.
I got money before the sale, and I've never played with that many merchants.
And seriously, I was like, God, Will, stop it.
Yeah, this was actually a close number 2 for my best win, just because. But I don't feel like I deserved it. Like I deserved Andromeda's Edge. This one, like, I think Don put in the wrong numbers.
Maybe.
Yeah. So best loss for me was an easy one, Critter Kitchen. It's actually the first game of Critter Kitchen I've lost all year.
Wow.
And I have it right here. It was my last game of my 5x5.
Wow, look at you
there it is. I got Peter. I drew you a little stick figure dragon. Your victory.
I roasted your chances of a sweep.
That's right. So if Sundara's ever busy, as you can see, I'm your guy.
Got it.
But the reason was my best loss is one, got to play with some modules I never played with before. Got to play with newspapers and pie, and I've never played with either of those. And Peter was kind enough to give us the two new Zoo Chef expansions, the Tortoise and the Hare. And Mrs. Hungry Gamer came up to the con. This was not one that was on the list, but she said she would come up, have dinner with us, and she'd play Critter Kitchen. So we immediately put that in the schedule. And as I mentioned before, she lost, but she doesn't care. She has so much fun with it. And she also said how much she loved the Tortoise and the Hare, which at first I wasn't sure because they're a little bit mean, but she really liked the characters. and it was a close one. I think Peter won comfortably, but I was in the mix. But it's just a fun game to play with people around the table. It doesn't never outstays its welcome, and it always surprises me how much fun I have with it. And so, and it also allows me to kind of just like I'm a kind of just a reaction kind of guy. Like whatever the board says, okay, I'm just going to go. While my wife is, I'm going to plan this thing. Like she's probably made her plan for the second turn of 4 games from now of Critter Kitchen, and she can do that too, and everyone can be competitive. So that was my best loss.
Nice. Well, that's an honor to have it.
All right, so moving into biggest surprise, and so I'll start on this one. It was almost Clans of Caledonia for this one too,
Yeah.
but I'm going to go with Recall. And I went with Recall because I knew I was going to enjoy it. This was one that when Peter was at Essen, Mark Dainty of Not Board Gaming, very good friend of mine, sent me a message about how much fun he was having playing Recall solo in his hotel room. Like he had set up in the hotel, he was playing the solo, having a great time, and I loved the previous game, the predecessor, Revive. In fact, Don and I played through the whole campaign, the nonsensical campaign. Very fun, but makes no sense. And I said, Mark, I'm going to send you some money. Please go buy me a copy. He's like, well, it's going to cost a fortune to send. It's like, I don't know. Maybe Peter will bring it home. And so Peter was kind of said he would do that. And so Mark, he bought this game, and then he saw Luke Laurie, and he shoved it in Luke's hands and say, this is for Will. Take it to Peter. And then he brought it to Peter, and then Peter's had it at his house for, I don't know, 3 months.
I actually have brought it to the Carbon Alchemy game nights thinking that I was going to open it because the condition was I could open it first and play it before you. And I actually didn't open it and punch it until DonCon, but so that didn't work out. But I learned it and then taught it, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. So and the surprise was how much I liked it. Like I knew I was going to like it, and I really, really enjoy this one. So it's just a blast. It takes, as someone who's familiar with Revive, I'm like, okay, I see the connections, but the way you're choosing your actions and you're moving around, it's different and just in all the best ways. I really, really like that one.
I love it. I actually I watched Full 42's video on YouTube yesterday where they were doing best art of the year. So best art covers of the year. And they did like a March Madness where they had art pitched against other art, and they were and amazingly Recall got to the finalists. I think this is just so weird. It's just a weird eyeball with clouds going into the eye and stuff. But what is Recall?
Yeah.
It's like you're remembering past civilizations and trying to figure out what they knew, because maybe that'll help you. So the fact that it has player powers, like you get a player power, but then you are looking up these ancient tribes. Each of you can learn about ancient tribes and then know what they knew and get their powers mid-game. I mean, oh my god, I was in. So yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah, I'll just spoil it. This was my best surprise also for the exact same reason. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Revive, but I think the nonsense of the campaign brought it down a bit for me. And so I went into this with medium expectations, and I really enjoyed it. And it was one of my worst losses. So that's a good sign if I enjoyed playing it.
Yeah.
The theme, again, did nothing for me in this game, but the mechanics of it are great.
So, well, we got Don's surprise. So, Peter, what was your surprise?
My biggest surprise, possibly because it's a game that isn't in print anymore, and now I found out I like it, and now I can't have it, is Trolls and Princesses, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I love it's the type of game where I'm like already interested in the theme. I just haven't somehow missed this game. I never saw it. And it's funny that you said it was 4 years just sitting there, and then you played it, and then now you're sharing it. And I'm like, oh, this is so good. Game Brewer is not around. So now I'm gonna have to see if someone wants to part with their copy. It was a really fun thing to sort of have a board where you're building a modular, you decide what you want to add to your cave or whatever you're like build out, and you want to build either a princess a bed so the princess can be there, but it's actions like, first I'm going to build the room that the princess could sleep in, and then I got to go get the princess, and meanwhile I'm trying to do this and that and the other. And every time it got to the draft of Princess Bed, you guys snapped those up, so I couldn't get those. I was trying to pivot, and I did this crazy, weird strategy of as many. I don't even know what the resource was.
You had obsidian, like you had.
Yeah, it's these obsidian stones, and I just had fields of them, and I was mining obsidian like crazy, trying to do this weird, funny strategy. But I loved the everything about the meeples, the look, the theme. It's just fun. The worker placement actions were really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy that one. I'm glad I got the big nose edition, which like it's not a
It's a
deluxe.
funny name for a deluxe edition. You know, I would start naming the deluxe editions like a title instead of just deluxe edition. You know.
Yeah, the for Flamebound it could be the Tentacle edition for the Tentacle Dragons.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's this the lore of trolls and princesses from I guess Scandinavia somewhere, and
Right.
so but the whole thing of where you're gonna get a princess, but you got to have a nice 4-post bed for that princess, and you can hire humans to come work in your cave, but they can never leave.
Right.
But you have to pay them like gold or a diamond. Like it's a big deal to pay them, and it has a nice little bit of interaction in that you're sending your trolls. So the more trolls you have in an area, that's how strong the ability is. The more stuff you can do, and you can send them out to the town to tear down churches because those bells are annoying, or to get princesses, or swap your troll babies for human babies, little changelings, which is totally cool. Like
Right. It's fine.
all babies are monsters, right?
Right.
Um, and you're doing all these things, but then if you're in the town, your trolls and other people's trolls will kind of work together, and it's
I
really
do like that a lot. Yeah.
yeah.
Enhancing your own worker placement while you're in your cave, but then you go to some other section of town and I get to count all of your trolls as the strength of my action was awesome. Very interesting.
And the Troll King is a good leader because he helps out wherever he
Yeah.
goes. He actually does something, which in our world I appreciate. Any thoughts on Trolls and Princesses, Don?
This was my second time playing it. I still haven't figured out how to be any good at it. I did enjoy having 6 princess beds and never getting a princess, and Peter's pain in that was delicious. But I love the simplicity of the actions. You have a simple choice between 3 cards, I think, every turn to choose what you're going to do, and that gives you a very simple guide to kind of where your strengths are, and so it's quick. I like how quick the actions are. It really kind of flies around the table turn wise, and I really enjoy a game that can do that, can be efficient, and you're not sitting waiting, and so that was great, and just the whimsy of it is a lot of fun.
All right, so could come back around to best moment of the con, and what Don? Why don't you start out on this one? What's your best moment?
Oh, that one was easy. That's Diggy Diggy Hole. I'd be surprised if this wasn't always also yours. But yeah, when we were playing Covenant, it's all about dwarves, and
Yeah, we got to have a soundtrack for every game, right?
yeah, Will likes to just shout out, "Hey Alexa, play such and such music," and so he said, "Play dwarf music," and it was a surprisingly metal heavy soundtrack that the system came up for, and I don't know, 4 or 5 songs in was this song called Diggy Diggy Hole, which like I next day I'm singing it around the house, and the kids are like, "Oh yeah, we've known that song for 10 years." So maybe we were the 3 people living under a rock that never heard this song, but it's an Italian. Oh, Alexa's about to start playing it now. I'm gonna let it go for a second. So it's an Italian metal or thrash band. I forget how they're described, and their whole style is based on Tolkien, especially the dwarves. And this song is called Diggy 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 Hole. And if you haven't heard it, go listen to it.
Yeah,
That's the way
the
to
chorus
describe it.
is I'm a dwarf and I'm digging a hole, digging a
Yes.
hole, digging. Like that's basically it. Yeah, it was very funny.
Considering that Covenant was
Alexa, stop.
the designer said that it was kind of dedicated to Tolkien, then that seems to really fit. That was a great moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So the synergy of that was the best moment for me.
Peter, how about you?
I'm gonna do cheaty. I'm gonna have 2 moments here, because one of them was that I brought an undisclosed prototype that I cannot talk about just yet. But while it was a lot of fun, my favorite moment of that is that Don's wife stayed to come check it out and see what it was, and stayed the entire game to help Don play his turns. To me, that was like, oh, this is like I got to see an unofficial player of the game get interested in the game, which is going to help me evaluate that prototype. But I will, because I can't say the name of that game, I'll give it to a game that I can say the name of. I got to play Manhattan Project Energy Empire, the new version, and I think the best moment is that we played 3 games by designer Luke Laurie. That's kind of the unofficial, designer of the con, and I'm going to give him that. I really love that game. Manhattan Project Energy Empire is a classic and should never go off be out of anyone's shelves. And now since it's back, people can get the expansion and all sorts of stuff. So I loved seeing it again.
Oh, so regarding the prototype, no comment, because
yeah,
no comment. And the Energy Empire, that was almost my best loss. That was almost my best loss, because I played it once or twice, the old version, and actually I have the old version sitting on my shelf, and I'd never played with the Doomsday Clock, which I really enjoyed the Doomsday Clock, and that was a very close game, I think, between all 3 of us. But yeah, really, really clever stuff. As you pull your workers back, and then some of the you get to activate all your stuff, and some of the new stuff that the game does with the Doomsday Clock and the little spies. You have these spies now, which I didn't think I would enjoy, but
did not
really,
like the spies. I loved them, but man, they were being used against me.
Well, you should have worse stuff.
Yeah, right.
So really enjoyed it. Really liked it.
I'm just so happy for Luke. I think he's taken in Manhattan Project Energy Empire with Tom Jolly was the first game where he had workers and energy, and you could use both to outbid, but also whenever you take an action in, say, industry, you get to do everything in industry and use energy, and that he took into Andromeda's Edge. And so we are benefiting from that system to see the classic again and see how it was built. I'm just so happy for how he builds games. As he's on our team at Cardboard Alchemy, that means the best games are yet to
But if he leaves the team, you're no longer happy about any of that. Let's be very clear.
Right.
He's out. All those games.
I'll still play his games wherever he goes. But so this was great to play again.
Yeah, it was fun. I know Don's a big fan of it. We actually talked about it. I don't know if it made it into the previous episode, because we were comparing the old bits and the new bits and which ones are better and all that. And what's funny about the game and the graphic design of the game is it's straight up. I can imagine that was Luke's prototype. Like it almost looks. It's just like boxes that are kind of colored, and
it is it's a look.
It's a choice. Everybody, don't let that make you shy away. It's a very
the game has to be in every collection. It's so good.
Yeah. So my moment of the con was that we do an unofficial. Peter started at DonCon5, an unofficial tracking of people's win-loss record. And so when I left on Monday night, Peter and I were tied at 50%. And so I said, well, that's not acceptable. And so we did Dwellings of Eldervale style. We rolled 5 or 6 dice, whoever had the most 6s. And I rolled first. I got like 3 6s, and I was like, it's over. And then Peter rolled 4 6s. And it was tragic. So he got the 0.1. But so the moment of the con, though, was the next morning. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Don and Peter played A Place for All My Books. And Don took it down, which means Peter lost the crown.
The percentage is now just a slight ding. It was worth it, but
it was glorious to have that moment of champion, and I wasn't even there to screw it up. So that was my
moment.
I didn't know how happy I was going to be, but I was so happy when that came back. I was like, oh my gosh. So that was a joy. Speaking of joy, the happiest game, most joyful game. Basically, the idea is just what game do you think back on or in the moment just really made you happy? May not be best win, best loss, whatever it might be. And I'll go first on this one. Above and Below Haunted. That game makes me happy every single time. And I took this one down by a lot, which I don't know what game y'all were playing.
Yeah.
It wasn't the game I was playing. But that aside, this is one of those games that even on other people's turns, I enjoy what's going on because the little stories and the stories are just my kind of weird and whimsical and silly. But you can make choices. You're like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. That sounds those all those birds just died, and I did that. Or I think it was Peter helped these birds, and we found out later the birds were just assholes. So yeah, Above and Below Haunted. I'm always happy when I play that, and Mrs. Hungry Gamer loves that one too. In fact, I just ordered all the stretch goals that because I didn't back
Oh,
this.
nice.
Yeah, they all just showed up, and so really enjoy that one. You guys, any thoughts on Above and Below before you guys go?
Yeah, I loved seeing it again because I played Above and Below the original, and I know that Rosie on our team, who's our comms manager, she's a huge fan of Ryan Lockhead. She cannot wait to play this one. So I got to scoop and say like, "Oh man, it's great! You should play it." Um, I like what they did to it, and I like this. The energy is still there. It's still Above and Below, but now it's got this fun twist of the ghosts. It is another one where, since we talked at the beginning about Vantage, I don't think I would play with too many people because I think having those quick turns of being able to read from the book. So I like it at a low player count, but I had a lot of fun with it too. So there's a lot of joy for sure.
Yeah, this is one that was really interesting to me. I'd never played Above and Below or anything in that series, so the mechanics were new to me to some extent, and this was one where I don't remember my brain firing on all cylinders while we were playing this because I was getting more confused than I should have at the start of the game, and so it was a little slow start for me, but I did enjoy it. It's got a nice flow to it once I figured it out.
All right, Peter, how about you? What's your joyful game?
Well, most joyful, and it's similar to the fact that I got to see Don's wife enjoy the prototype, but also I'm just excited that your wife wanted to play Critter Kitchen and wanted to come and be part of that. And I have a lot of joy teaching that game. And so it was the most joyful to say, listen, I love these newspapers. And we put my favorite critic is the Chimera because it brings two critics. So you actually play two rules. We played with one of my favorites, the Hippo. Um, and we tried to play with the other one that I don't play a lot is the Wolverine, but I had a lot of fun because Wolverine, you want to be by yourself. I knew there was going to be a lot of push pull in that game because you want to be with other people and scoop the best thing. And we had pies where you're going to want to go eat as much pie on the little pie dials. And I love Critter Kitchen, but the joy is seeing it be on somebody else's list to play. So I really appreciate the fact that everyone wanted to play it, and I had a blast. Teaching it, sharing it, taking it down, minor part of the joy. But
Whatever gets you close to second place, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Don, how about you? What was your most joyful game?
Mine is Energy Empire. It was exciting to get the new version to the table. This was an early game that I discovered, like early in my gaming career, however you put it, that I discovered, one of the first crunchy type games that I got to know. It's definitely a top 5 game for me. I will never not play it. And just getting all the expansion content on the table and playing with you all was just a joy.
All right, so here we are. It's come down to the game of the con. And Peter, how about you start us off?
Sure. Well, what could top Clans of Caledonia at this con? I want to say that if Mark Dainty, Luke Laurie, and Will Brown had not gone through this procedure to bring recall to a table, there is no way I would have picked this game up. I said that the box cover made it to the finalists, but it's weird looking, and I just did not engage with the theme at all. I just would never have picked this game. But then I'm reading the rules, which, by the way, kudos to whoever, like, the rule book is 16 pages. And as someone who has 62 pages for Andromeda's Edge, or whatever the heck, I know how hard it is to bring a rule book down. I mean, Flamecraft.
You got 16 pages and 36 superfluous pages, right?
Flamecraft is a 20-page rule book, and where you know how amazing it is that Recall is less pages than that. So it's this really simple system where you have a worker placement action. you have these keys that you are putting into a machine, and then the keys have a power on them, and the machine slots have a power on them, and you're deciding which worker placement A and B action you're going to match up, which is a brilliant system. And on top of that, every faction has very interesting powers. There was, like, as we were reading off the factions, there was one that there were pig farmers, and then there was somebody else that was like these mech robots, and then there was these Wild West, like, ghost-like creatures. I'm like, I want to play all of these things, all of them.
Peter was so excited when one of the lost civilizations were the pig farmers,
right?
Because now suddenly we had pig meeples out on the board.
Yeah,
out of nowhere.
I mean,
yeah,
I love the idea. It reminds me a little bit of SETI in the idea that you're going to have two unknown, aliens come out in the middle of the game. This one is you have three long lost civilizations. You have your own powers, and during the game, you can actually learn the powers of the other. So the first person to flip it over gets to take a gadget from that civ, and then the next person who finds it gets to take another gadget from that civ, and the gadgets are all interesting. This game blew me away, and I will be trying to pick up a copy as soon as possible and play it a lot more times, because I really loved Recall.
Yeah, I already talked about it as my surprise, but this was in consideration for my game of the con. And well, Don, you already talked about it also. So I'm going to jump in with my game of the con was Covenant, which, well, we've talked about it ad nauseum now, but I grasped it pretty quickly. I didn't win, but I was in the mix. But I really liked the way the things are working. Some of the theme stuff. I love man, I'm not really good at this. Drink a beer. Now I'm good at it. That's how it works, everybody.
Right.
That the diggy hole. It's an interesting production. Like, it's got all those little like acrylics. So I don't know why it has a little acrylics, but I kind of like the little acrylics. And you got some tracks, but it's not super tracky. And I also, because one of the podcasts that I listened to obliterated it, just lit the thing on fire.
They are so very wrong.
Yeah. Yep. They lit it on fire. They took the ashes, they rebuilt it from the ashes, and they burned it again. I mean, just smashed it.
Wrong.
And it was like 2 days before the con, and I was like, well, here we go. And I loved it. I enjoyed it. As I said, I kept Peter's so I can play it some more. Just really, really like that one. So Don, take us home with your game of the con.
Clans of Caledonia.
Yeah.
It's the first game that we all played. It was just a joy. It's always a joy to get to the table, and playing with the new expansion content was a lot of fun. And just, we had a blast with that one. And I thought I was going to win for a while.
Well, you didn't have the black cheese and the black milk, so
there's that.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, it's like blue cheese, but moldier.
Yeah. So nothing new to say about the game. It's just a joy. So that's my game of the con.
All right. So there we go. DonCon5 coming up sometime between January 1 and December 31 next year. We never know. But if it's in December, we will have to send out the games in advance so we can put them on the list.
Yeah, on the game picks, it'll be undisclosed present. You'll just have to decide if you're going to rank it high or low.
I feel like Peter's gifts are pretty crappy. Let's put those down low. I don't know. Don's due for something good. Let's put his gift way up. Yeah. But Peter, we're going to give you the last word. What are your gaming words of wisdom? And they can't be by Flamecraft Duals.
Okay.
Whisperwood.
As someone who makes games and spends a lot of time away, this is obviously the hobby that I'm choosing to be in, as well as my career. But it is so important to take these moments out of the schedule and do this. So I wasn't going to do this DonCon. I felt too busy. I felt like the year was too slammed, but I did take the time out, and it has turned out to be the best moment of the year. I just appreciate that gaming time with some friends. So everyone who's watching this needs to find a friend to name a con after, and get some games played over a weekend, because it's not just let's have a game night. It is let's have a marathon of games so that you can have a reason to use the software to rank, to compete, to see what you can do, and I'll have these moments. So it's worth it.
Because Don and I were still going to do something, but we were all set up to have LameCon, is what we were calling it. We were going to have LameCon because we had no publisher, so you cannot be a DonCon without a publisher. And it was all set up. We were going to be one day at his place, one day at my place, and whoever won more games, and they would get to host the next one because that sounds kind of lame. It was a whole thing that we were working on. And then 2 weeks out,
saving us, Peter.
Yeah, 2 weeks out, Peter's like, I'm in. So really a delight. And Don just mentioned Whisperwood, which is the next title from Cardboard Alchemy. And in a moment of I'm going to throw this out there for everybody. Don and I played this a couple years ago, one of the early, I don't know if it's the earliest playtest, but an early playtest. And that was 2 years ago. And then I played it again with Skippy last week.
Right. Played it on TTS. Yep.
Yeah. And the amazing thing that happens with games is how much they grow over time and how much fun I had playing on TTS. That is not a fun medium, people.
We're very close to having it in print where I could bring it around and we could show it to you that way.
Yeah. It was fun during COVID because that was all we had, but that's not a fun medium. And the amount of fun that I had doing that, considering the previous time I played at a convention with people that I like, and the change in the game and how much better it's gotten and how much more fun I had, even though I got waxed, smashed. So Whisperwood, everybody, it's worth checking out.
There's a Kickstarter notification for that page. I'm very excited that there's 3,000 people already knocking on the door to the forest.
Well, you should just launch it then.
We're ready to go. But we have to make it, like you said, development is a thing. It's got to get refined. And actually, Luke Laurie is the developer on that project. So,
I mean, it was an hour faster than it was the previous time that I played. And again, on TTS. And that's at least a 20% time tax when you're on TTS. So really, it was very, very clever. Really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to playing that one again. So everybody, it's crunchy. This is not.
I mean, it is a bag builder, and it is probably up there with the weight of. People have been debating if Andromeda's Edge is heavier or Whisperwood's heavier.
I'd say Andromeda's Edge is heavier.
Okay,
my one play of the new one.
But that debate will rage on once we get Whisperwood out there. So,
So everybody, check it out and just go play some prototypes at a convention. Everybody, just.
Absolutely.
Don't I know Don and I used to spend all of our times in the Protospiel, and since I've dragged Don into my world of testing stuff, he gets his prototype fix.
We used to have that a big thing. We didn't really talk about this, but a big thing about DonCon when we first came up with it, and Facebook served me this memory during this DonCon was that we had badges. And there was a Protospiel room-ish because we always had a prototype. That was kind of part of the con vibe, right? There's prizes, there's publisher, there's designers, there's media, but the Protospiel part is important to see how games, when they're in their early stages, they can be a lot of fun or absolutely train wrecks, depending.
So it's really worth it. Just check it out because you can. By playing prototypes, I actually think it makes you better at games. I think you kind of understand why things are happening, and again, seeing where a game started to where it ended up is really cool. Sometimes it's depressing. You're like, but it was so good. What did you do?
Yeah. There was in Whisperwood too. The game started out as 12 rounds, and it's now 7. And I miss some of those. I loved playing the extra hour, but of course, if someone plays it now, they're not going to know that it went on that there was that round 9 was what it was. They're just not going to know, and they're not going to care because it's good at 7.
Look, if I want to play an 8-hour game, I'll play Twilight Imperium.
That's right. Absolutely. But we haven't put that on the DonCon schedule yet. Twilight Imperium.
Because
and it probably won't be.
Yeah, I'd rather die in a fire.
Okay.
Just
checking.
No, thank you. But Anyhow, everybody, make sure you check out Cardboard Alchemy, all the stuff that they have, new campaign coming up. If you don't have a copy of Backyard Chickens, you should.
Yep. It's
There
a
are
classic right there.
you can still get copies. They are still available out there. And if they're not, send Don a message if you can find him. He might be able to help you out. But as always, everybody, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody.
Say that.